Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. My name is Matt. I know this podcast is quite new, but some of you have been following along for a while now. As you may have noticed, the narrator has changed a couple of times already in just a few months. The truth is, the podcast has been growing extremely slow, and basically nobody has left us any reviews so far. I'm here as the new voice of the podcast and would love to stick around, but I need your support to do so. Please, if you enjoy our content, it would mean so much to us if you could just leave us a review on whichever podcast platform you use. Now, take a deep breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories, where gentle words and soothing imagery guide you into a peaceful rest. Tonight, you are invited to journey through the soft whisper of falling rain and the ancient mystery of Stonehenge, a place where centuries of quiet secrets drift among mighty stones. Before you settle in, take a moment to let your breath flow slowly in and out, feeling the mild tension in your body release with each exhales. Allow the day's busyness to fall away, replaced by the mellow comfort of a night designed for deep and nurturing sleep. Picture yourself wrapped in a warm blanket of calm, the steady rhythm of your breathing syncing with the gentle pulse of the earth beneath you. This story, set within the timeless circle of Stonehenge, will guide you along a tranquil path into the heart of nature and history, encouraging you to release all concerns. With each slow breath, imagine drifting closer to the soft hush of ancient stones glistening under the rain. Now, gently let your eyelids grow heavy and let your mind open to the tranquility of this nighttime tale. Long ago, in the gentle countryside of southern England, there stood a vast stretch of rolling meadows and farmland, connected by curving roads lined with hedgerows. Within that quiet land, as dusk approached, a mild drizzle began to fall, sprinkling the fields with glimmering droplets that caught the last traces of twilight. Cows dozed in far-off pastures, their silhouettes faint against the cloud-shrouded horizon. A light wind sighed across the grasses, carrying the crisp fragrance of rain-soaked soil and the distant echo of rustling leaves. Nearby, clustered in the hush of the fading day, were a few cottages with thatched roofs, warm yellow light spilling from small windows into the soft gloom. Lanterns, with their delicate glow, marked the entrance to narrow paths winding across the countryside, eventually leading to the ancient ring of monolithic stones, Stonehenge. By the time a young traveller named Rowan arrived at the edge of the grassy plain, night had already cast its gentle blanket across the land. The drizzle persisted, neither heavy nor harsh, but steady enough to leave a glistening sheen on each blade of grass. Under the muted glow of a half-hidden moon, the distant outline of Stonehenge materialized like a patient guardian, its tall stones cloaked in the shifting darkness. Rowan paused on the path, taking in the sight of those silent sentinels. The wind around the stones had a slight murmur, as though telling stories older than any memory, calling out to those with listening hearts. For Rowan, the journey began many miles away, sparked by a quiet yearning to stand in that sacred circle. He had heard tales of Stonehenge's secret powers to stir dreams, to calm a racing mind, to awaken something gentle and profound in a weary soul. Rowan's steps were unhurried as he left the final cottage behind and ventured deeper into the open fields. The crunch of pebbles beneath his boots softly swallowed by the damp grass. His thoughts wandered to the ancient hands that once placed these stones, to the thousands of sunsets and sunrises that had passed over them, to the countless hearts that found solace there. Something about these reflections, how vast and timeless they felt, soothed Rowan as he neared the circle. A faint path meandered through a small grove of oak trees, their leaves shimmering under each raindrop's gentle weight. Droplets gathered on branches and fell in tender rhythms on the forest floor, creating a lullaby of nature's making. In the darkness, the oak trunks stood solid and comforting, their roots tangled and deep beneath the rain-washed earth. Rowan slowed, listening to the tap-tap of the water as it landed on fallen leaves. Under the canopy, the world felt sheltered, as though shielded from any restlessness in the wider world. Emerging from this refuge, Rowan found the landscape opened up once more. Low shrubs and rolling mounds dotted the fields, and there, further in the distance, Stonehenge's silhouette rose against the inky sky. Towering stones, arranged in a circle, glistened faintly under the subtle glow of thin moonlight filtered by drifting clouds. The rain grew softer as Rowan drew closer, as though the clouds themselves were bowing in reverence to the ancient monument. A sense of deep quiet cradled Rowan, so profound that even thoughts of tomorrow or yesterday felt distant, muffled by the hush of centuries-old presence. He came to a gentle slope, and at its crest, Stonehenge revealed itself in quiet grandeur. The stones stood like watchful guardians, each set in its place by hands long gone, yet ever present in spirit. Their surfaces were mottled with age, some grey and speckled with patches of lichen, some smooth and glistening in the rain, others etched by centuries of wind and weather. Standing at the outer edge of the circle, Rowan felt as if the stones recognized his footsteps, a silent welcome extended to any wanderer seeking the peace of ancient knowledge. A mild breeze rustled his cloak, and the soft patter of raindrops played a gentle tune on the grass. Stepping between two upright stones, Rowan entered the circle, feeling as though he crossed into a realm of dreams. It was not just a ring of stones. It was a place alive with the hush of history, the accumulated vibrations of countless voices, footsteps, prayers, and meditations. Though the drizzle persisted, each drop seemed to fall with reverence, Tucking himself under the partial shelter of a massive slab, Rowan ran his fingers along its surface. The stone felt cool and faintly textured, as if telling stories through every ridge and groove. For a moment, his mind slowed to the tempo of the raindrops, lulled by the soft breathing of the earth around him. Time seemed to pause as the traveller gazed up at the ancient lintels stacked across standing pillars. Moonlight, defying the drifting clouds, revealed glimpses of intricately fitted joints, meticulously crafted by people whose names had faded into the vast flow of centuries. Rowan imagined them measuring, lifting, singing songs of hope and unity as they pieced these stones together in cycles of sun and moon. He imagined gatherings under star-laden skies, the hush of dancers, the scent of blossoms from the fields, and the echo of drums beating gently in harmony with the earth's rhythms. Rain beaded along the edges of the towering stones, dripping slowly onto the ground, creating a soft chorus. Rowan glanced across the wide ring to find smaller stones forming an inner circle, many partially collapsed, but each retaining an air of quiet dignity. Drifting to the center, he took in the arrangement, letting his gaze settle on each stone as though greeting an old friend. The hush was tangible, a shared stillness that invited reflection and calm. At the circle's heart lay a flat stone known in legend for ceremonies and quiet gatherings. Water glistened atop its surface, forming tiny pools that caught the moonlight in subtle sparks. Rowan placed a hand near the stone, feeling the faint chill radiating from its surface. It was a chill that did not jar him awake, but rather made him more present, more aware of the life force beneath all things, ancient and timeless. Each pulse of his heart seemed to resonate with the silent ground beneath him. Overhead, the clouds shifted, and a gentle wave of moonlight spilled onto the stones. The subtle illumination sparked something deep in Rowan's imagination. He had read tales of wise druids, of whispered incantations echoing among the megaliths. Perhaps in the folds of time, the stones had absorbed all those voices, keeping them safe until a quiet night like this one, when a lone traveller might sense their soft whispers. The sound of the breeze grew a touch louder, carrying the mild fragrance of wet grass, wild herbs, and far-off pines. Rowan inhaled deeply, letting that clean scent clear his mind. With every slow breath, his shoulders slackened, his heartbeat softened, and any burden he carried slipped away, replaced by an unspoken sense of belonging. The synergy between man and monument felt effortless, as if Stonehenge's steady presence offered reassurance that all is part of a grand tapestry, woven from both the trivialities of daily life and the grand mysteries of the cosmos. A soft trickle of water from the lintel to the ground created a quiet rivulet near Rowan's feet, weaving around small pebbles. He watched as the droplets merged into a narrow stream, then soaked gently into the earth. For a moment, he pictured how the water cycle might have repeated here for thousands of years. Raindrops falling, feeding the soil, nurturing seeds that sprouted each spring. Perhaps the ancients who raised these stones felt that same tranquility in the midst of rain. A distant rumble of thunder rolled across the horizon, gentle and far away, like an old friend clearing its throat from across a wide plain. The slight tremor in the air only deepened the atmosphere of calm. Above, the night sky revealed patches of starlight through shifting clouds, each star a tiny beacon shining down upon the circle below. A sense of timeless wonder flowed through Rowan's chest as he gazed at the silent structure, imagining the many nights Stonehenge had weathered. Storms, gentle showers, blazing noon suns, frosty dawns, and the transitions of moon phases that arrived and departed across countless epochs. Pulling his cloak closer around him, Rowan settled onto a smooth patch of grass near the base of a fallen stone. He leaned back, letting the ancient pillar serve as a natural headrest. The stone's cool solidity grounded him. He closed his eyes, listening more deeply to the surroundings. The soft hush of the wind weaving between the stones, the faint trickle of water, the gentle rustle of small nocturnal creatures in the nearby shrubs. The place thrummed with quiet life, humming in harmony with Rowan's breathing. As the minutes passed, a deeper stillness enveloped him, as though Stonehenge itself offered protection. He imagined the circle radiating a subtle warmth, a cradle of resonance that reminded him of a lullaby. The spattering rain eased further, transitioning into a fine mist that settled on the meadows, leaving the night hushed, the sense of being at the threshold of a great secret growing even stronger. Here, in the presence of these stones that had endured centuries of change, everyday worries seemed to shrink, losing significance in the face of such vast, silent endurance. In the tranquility, Rowan recalled a story he had once heard from a wandering bard. According to this legend, when the veil between worlds grew thin, the stones whispered lullabies to travellers caught in anxious thoughts, telling them of the abiding rhythms of nature, the turning of seasons, and the healing power of rest. He could almost sense that lullaby now, hovering in the damp air, woven into each drop of moisture. The circle was filled with a gentle hush, like a mother softly humming to a child, reminding the weary that it was safe to drift into slumber. Overhead, the moon drifted behind a thicker patch of cloud, and darkness gently gathered over Stonehenge. The shadows cast by the stones lengthened and blurred, blending seamlessly into the deeper gloom of midnight. Rowan breathed slowly, turning his gaze toward the sky. Between clouds, the stars shimmered faintly, a momentary break in the cloud cover revealed a cluster of bright constellations, each star a silent witness to the centuries that had come and gone here. A breeze passed through, stirring Rowan's hair, carrying with it a comforting message. Be still, be at ease, for all is well in the embrace of night. In another part of the circle, a small puddle formed, capturing a pristine reflection of the ancient stones. The reflection trembled each time a drop of rain landed. Looking into that watery mirror, one might imagine glimpses of the past, as if each ripple revealed a scene from long ago. Fires glowing in stone braziers, figures cloaked in furs and robes, chanting softly in a language lost to time. Rowan's mind's eye wandered to such visions, not in a way that stirred excitement, but in a dreamlike drift that only deepened his sense of calm. The stories were not frightening or unsettling, but rather gentle, reminding him that humankind has always gathered around places of quiet power to find a shared heartbeat, a reason to rest and reflect. Now and then, a mild gust of wind sent a soft shiver through the grass, and the stones responded with a subtle resonance, as though each megalith were a note in nature's lullaby. If one listened closely enough, one might hear the faint echo of voices long gone, repeating messages of unity, of reverence for the land, of gratitude for life's cyclical nature. The gentle hush that filled the circle was the same hush that invites a child to curl into a warm bed at night, lulled by the comforting presence of guardians. So it was here, under the watchful stones. In a corner of the circle, partially cloaked by a fallen lintel, a tiny glow appeared, a small willow lantern that Rowan had placed near his resting spot. Its flame flickered with each breath of wind, casting dancing reflections across the damp grass. The gentle, shifting light made the stones seem to come alive, highlighting the subtle contours of their surfaces. Shadows swayed, and the effect was more mesmerizing than anything bright or dazzling could accomplish. It was as if the stones themselves were breathing, slowly, steadily, in tune with the night. Eventually, the clouds thinned once more, and the moon emerged in its half-lit form, silver beams peeking over Stonehenge's weathered arches. The pale light caught the raindrops still clinging to the stones, making them glitter like scattered stardust. Rowan opened his eyes fully now, entranced by the serene beauty. A soft hush of gratitude drifted through him, as if he too were part of the circle, a piece of living history, present and connected. The moment felt infinite, and the hush of the night encouraged a languid relaxation that spread through his limbs. He watched a slender shadow of a stone stretch across the grass, noticing how effortlessly it merged with the night, how gently it invited the mind to wander into rest. There was no rush here, no urgency. The night was an expansive tapestry, weaving time in broad, looping stitches. In the quiet, everything felt lighter, free of weight or worry. Rain still gathered and fell in shimmering rivulets, but softly now, so softly that it might have been a distant memory rather than a continuing shower. From somewhere in the distance, an owl hooted, its call echoing across the fields. The sound was low, resonant, and brief, like a gentle reminder of nature's watchful presence. Within the circle, the air remained calm, the stones unwavering in their role as keepers of ancient peace. Rowan closed his eyes again, letting that quiet call linger in his thoughts, like a feather floating on still water. He inhaled slowly, filling his lungs with moist air that smelled of earth and damp grass. With each exhale, he sensed tension unraveling from inside him, as though the circle itself was massaging away lingering cares. Time slipped by with no need for counting minutes. The hush of Stonehenge, the lull of rain, and the faint starlight all conspired to bring about a state of complete relaxation. Rowan felt his eyelashes grow heavy, his muscles ease. When he opened his eyes next, he found the lantern's flame had nearly dimmed, shrinking to a faint glow that gently flickered against the stone behind him. The hush had deepened, and the rain was now hardly more than a memory, leaving a fine dampness on every surface. A mild fog gathered at ground level, weaving around the stone's bases like delicate ribbons, giving the circle an even more ethereal quality. As the night wore on, Rowan felt a wave of drowsiness envelop him. The stones stood as silent companions, ever watchful, seemingly encouraging him to surrender to rest. The gentle hush of Stonehenge was a testament to the comfort that can be found in slowing down, letting the swirling thoughts of the day recede. In that tranquil environment, heavy eyelids were an invitation to a deeper embrace of calm, to slip gently into the realm of dreams, where the ancient voices might continue their lullabies in softer, more mysterious ways. Clouds drifted across the sky in slow motion, obscuring and revealing stars in an unhurried dance. The faint breeze carried a subtle hint of lavender from a small patch of wildflowers, blending with the freshness of the rain. It felt as though the entire countryside was breathing in a pattern of rest, and that the circle of stones was the heart at the center, steady and constant, encouraging all within its realm to let go. If there were any thoughts left in Rowan's mind, they were now hushed to a quiet hum, pleasant and unobtrusive. The only real presence was a soothing darkness, speckled with moonlit shapes and the melody of silence. By the time the owl called once more, Rowan's eyes were shut again, and a soft heaviness coursed through his limbs. The hush of the stones, the gentle swirl of fog, and the soft glimmer of water droplets united to cradle him. His heartbeat slowed to a tranquil pace, steady and sure. The ancient site wrapped him in a living tapestry of night, stone and time, as if guiding him to drift with ease into slumber. Now, dear traveller of dreams, as you rest in this peaceful circle, feel your breath growing ever softer. Let your eyelids become heavier, each gentle blink carrying you further into serenity. Here, in the presence of timeless stones and the lull of a misty night, you are free to let your mind wander into the soothing domain of sleep. Notice how the tension in your body flows away, like the slow drip of water from the stones. There is no need to hold on to any worry. Let every muscle slacken, your mind calm, your breath shallow and slow. The hush of Stonehenge envelops your thoughts, inviting you to slip further into a quiet land of rest. Imagine the soft grass beneath you, the cool, comforting surface of stone at your back, and the gentle lullaby of nature's night chorus in your ears. Let the weight of day's concerns fade into the distance, overshadowed by the protective ring of ancient guardians. You are safe here, held in a cradle older than memory. Allow the final murmurs of the breeze to carry you deeper into peaceful slumber. Hear the faint echo of whispered stories from the stones, each word guiding you toward restful dreams. In this embrace of night, where raindrops and starlight dance together, know that you are on the threshold of a soothing sleep that will cradle you until morning's first light. Good night, dear traveller. Sleep well.